Welcome to The Engaging Life, a podcast about using engagement equity to improve your relationship building skills in your personal and professional life. And now, here are your hosts, Brandon Suba and Angela Cheney.
Well, hey, Angela, how are you today?
I'm good, Brandon, and you?
Looking forward to our topic today. I think it'll be a good one.
And everybody gets to see us now.
That's right.
As
Welcome.
well as hear us.
Season 2. Welcome to Season 2, everyone. If you're listening, what Angela is getting to is we now have our shows will come out on YouTube. So you are able to watch the show. So when we say, I know you can't see what we're doing. Well, now you can. You can. And then, of course, we will keep pushing out all of our normal podcasts. So it'll come out on all of your podcast streaming services. So you can continue to enjoy the Engaging Life podcast with however you listen to it now. But then you can come and watch the video.
We should be doing some exciting things.
We are doing
other
some
than
exciting.
matching our shirts, which we didn't even try to do today.
We don't need to because we have real fashion. And that's what really matters. I do want to make a correction. I think we need to correct a podcast, and it was my topic. It was my talk. It was the dress to impress. So I went to a wedding in Connecticut. I did not take a suit because here in Nebraska, you can get away without wearing a suit. To tell you the truth, I had a girlfriend one time that told me I couldn't wear a suit to a wedding. This was obviously before I was married. Yeah, we did not make it. It wasn't Liz. and so that was kind of the mindset going in. Well, guess what? In the Northeast area, because this was in Connecticut, everybody, and I mean everybody, wears a suit. So I felt very out of place. And then my sister-in-law's boyfriend followed my suit, and he also felt out of place. So maybe if you listen to the podcast about the dressing professionally or all that, I want to make the disclaimer, please tailor that to the part of America that you live in, because it may make a difference. And if we didn't nail your specific culture, I'm sorry. But
you didn't wear your white suit?
No.
That's a story for another time.
Short of it is I hosted an event at my church and it was a whiteout, so I got a white suit. But there was a big adventure to getting the suit on time and everything. Anyways, okay, so that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. Today, the topic that we're going to talk about is when you change a position, maybe you get promoted or you're leaving a company, you're working with a different company now, and you do the traditional post on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And there's a couple different ways, right? Your announcement, what is it? When you, like a new workplace, do you know on Facebook? What it posts on Facebook?
What, it has a name?
Yeah, well, it's a specific post. Like when you're born, when you change jobs. Milestones and stuff. Okay. So you have those. And then on LinkedIn, it does work anniversaries and all of that. So when you post on there, you get a little more traction on there. But I have seen and heard many times at networking events, oh, I didn't know you were doing that now. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I put it on Facebook. I honestly think some people even liked it and still didn't put two and two together, right? Because you're just going through. So what I wanted to talk about today was, what does that look like? And how can you go above and beyond than just that post so that people know what you're doing? Because the hardest thing to do is to switch from one sales profession to another and get everybody on board for it.
Absolutely.
To have them bringing you business.
Well, and not even to get them on board for it, but it's also a courtesy thing. Especially, and you might get into this later, but I always like to jump in with my own thoughts. It's a courtesy thing because if you have good clients, especially if you're going to a job that is similar, and you might want, they expect you to still be there in that position, and then they call and you're not there anymore, but you've gone to a different place that maybe offers similar services, they can often feel left out, upset, abandoned.
That's the word I was thinking.
And that would be similar to one of the big parts of engagement equity is sharing. So it would be similar. Like I have a friend, one of my best friends, who gets very upset if I tell somebody something and don't tell her. So like when we won, Pixelfire won Small Business of the Year.
I was there. It was awesome.
You were there. I don't know if you remembered. And I didn't tell her because she's not really involved with my work life, and I just didn't think about it.
Right.
And then she saw it on social media and said, why didn't you tell me? And she was really hurt. And that's a friendship sort of thing, sharing, but you can get that too with business, especially if you have really good clients. You know, you're in mortgage. Say you help somebody buy 2 houses and an investment property, and they're kind of thinking about buying the next one, and they go to talk to you and you're not there anymore.
Right.
That can be very hurtful to some of your clients.
Well, and of course, you always want positivity, right? Within your experience and your client experience. So that's why I thought this would be a great one to touch on today, because a lot of people are moving and grooving. And once again, even if you're not changing companies, but just got promoted, I think that still plays in with that client engagement, because they're calling you for this, and you have to do
didn't you hear?
Yeah, didn't you see?
Yeah,
did you see my Facebook post?
Right. All of a sudden they see that you've got a different title under your email, or they come in and you're in a different office and they're just like, what the? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So that's the topic we're going to touch on. So obviously we talked about the social media part, right? And you should do that. I think you should
definitely do that.
And it's fun.
It is fun. It's a good way to reach a lot of people, but it's really important to realize, and it's hard especially if you're really into social media. It's hard for some people to realize that not everybody is on social media.
That's right.
And not everybody is on every platform as well. Especially now, as there's more and more, you kind of have to pick and choose.
And Instagram doesn't do those kind of posts, do they? It's more Facebook, because I've never seen it on Instagram, really.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. Obviously, take a picture of yourself in your new office or whatever you decide to do. But I think it's really important to realize that even if you're a big consumer of social media and you're on there all the time and you keep up on everyone's lives, not everybody's like that.
No. Actually, there's probably less people like that.
Fewer.
Than fewer. Is that the proper?
Grammatically correct.
Thanks, grammar police.
You're welcome anytime.
So a couple ideas that I've written down here. So I'm going to start with the second one, not the first one, but sending out emails. And this is a sales tactic, I feel, but even if you're not in sales, I still think it's really good. Sending out emails. And this is going to be to me, this is your more personal, probably going to do business with, again, referral sources. And it's just, and you can make a mass email look personal, but this is really to say, and kind of like your friend, right?
I wouldn't do a mass email.
You wouldn't do a mass email for this.
It's more work.
So
I would do individual.
So that's going to go more over here, right? When we get to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So email. So this is a personal email. So this list is probably shorter then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an email. You're reaching out to specific people, referral partners, saying, "Hey, I'm doing this now," and don't sell, right? Don't sell,
right?
But this is okay. Is this okay? I would love to grab coffee sometime and tell you a little bit more about it.
Sure. Yeah.
But you can't sell there either.
Now, is that just for referral partners? Because I think you should send that email to also your best clients.
Sure. Yeah. And I feel if they're your best clients and it's valid that they could continue using your services, then it's okay to want to meet up with them. But once again, not to sell. I think I've made that very, very clear. This is to educate them on what you're doing new, not to sell them on what you're doing.
And also as a courtesy, to keep them informed.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true too. Okay, so emails and maybe sign up copies. Newsletter then. That's the mass email. And I got to share this story. So I was working with this lady. She was in California.
Okay.
And we went through many offers on many homes, and we never got it. And she had a marketing business. And she ghosted me a little after a while. And we worked together for almost a year. So there were times we didn't talk a lot. And so I hadn't heard from her for a while.
Okay.
I sent out an email saying, "Hey, just checking in, seeing how things are going." And about 3 days later, I got a email from her marketing. "Oh, I'm now living by my daughter. I found a place to rent." And to her clientele, I get it. It's just keeping up with what's going on. But I'm like, you could have sent me a personal email.
Could have let me know.
Yes!
Yeah.
Like, hey, the guy that not wasted, but the long hours of doing weird letters for you at different times. And so I was a little...
See, so that's exactly a courtesy.
Yes. Because we were working together at the time. We were still in the midst of, but I found out, and I still reached out another email, but I still reached out and said, "Hey, I got your letter. I see what's going on with you. Let me know if I can help, so on and so on. So,
Sure.
so emails to kind of that personal, more relationship you want to keep. The newsletter or kind of an update on my life, that could be the mass email. Then.
Now, how would you suggest utilizing the newsletter? Because most people who send out a newsletter, it is branded specifically to the business where they are. So that wouldn't matter if you got promoted or if you moved into a different position within the company. But what about when you move companies? Do you send a newsletter branded with the old company before you leave? Do you wait till you get to the new company? Because then you might not be able to bring your contacts over.
Right.
It's going to look different. It's probably going to come from a different address. So
I would say wait. And here's.
But what if you don't have any of the contacts? And
so are you saying like a non-compete, you can't take them with you?
Or it's obviously going to come for. Are you saying you're going to send it through like MailChimp or something like that?
Yeah, that's how I envision this. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And it's not coming from the actual company.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. This would, and when I say newsletter, it's. I'm not thinking like this person does a monthly newsletter going. It's more a general. Here's what's going on with me. I just wrote newsletter on there.
Okay, this isn't I send one out every week, and this is the next
Correct.
iteration of it. Okay.
And in my example, that was a newsletter that she sent out. It wasn't super consistent, so I guess.
So it's a mass email.
Yeah, it's a mass email.
So
that would be so the mass email is the extra touch beyond social media. So then if you had someone that didn't see on social media, they would receive this in their email.
Okay.
I think that's how I envision that.
Gotcha.
So, okay, next one is a phone call. And this is where we've already the email to the referral partners. I do feel there are some clients and some referral partners that deserve a phone call.
Absolutely. And so I don't know why. Okay, I do know why. Several reasons. I do not like the phone as far as calling goes. For a couple reasons. Number one, I feel like it's egotistical for me to say, I'm going to make a call right now and expect this person who could be doing whatever to be interrupted and find this a good time to talk. I find it selfish.
So Gary Vee has a video. Is that
I'm not referencing that. I'm saying this is how I feel.
This was, probably about 10 years ago too, but he was at a tech company. He was the keynote speaker. And he walks up on a stage and goes, okay, everybody raise your hand if you've gotten a phone call in like the last 24 hours. Everybody kind of raise their hand. Then he goes, okay, now raise your hand if it annoyed you. Everybody raise their hand. And what he said is, it's because a phone call is on your time.
Yes.
Not on their time. And we have too many avenues that we can give people the opportunity to choose the time. And unfortunately, phone is not one.
Yeah. And yeah, I hate the phone. I mean, it is very rare I will pick up a phone call. Very rare. Most of the time, even if I'm not doing anything, I'll wait, see if they left a voicemail.
Yeah, I do that.
And then I'll send a text later. I won't do it right away because then it's obvious. I just sat here and watched my phone ring. But then okay, so that's one reason. It interrupts whatever I'm doing. The other one is I don't like being caught on the spot. Mm-hmm. Like if somebody asks me to do something, I want time to think about it. And do I really want to do this? Do I want to? And if you ask me, then it's obvious that I want some time to think about it.
Right.
So I hate the phone. And I know that a lot of professions still utilize the phone. I know some people still like it, but I would do a part 2 to that because I do think it could be very beneficial to send a text.
And we've talked about it on previous podcasts many times. You want to communicate the way the platinum rule. So if your friend always texts and will never, then yeah, phone call's a bad idea. Right. You're not going to get the results. The text message will get you those results.
Right. Yeah, definitely platinum rule there. And I think it's getting pretty generational. Yeah. Is not completely, but if you have older clients, and by older, I mean probably 50 plus, maybe even older than that, because I'm getting up there and
you don't want a phone call.
I don't want a phone call, but the other reason I said that I like texting more than calling is I'm a writer. I can express myself so much better.
And she can judge my writing in my emails.
I judge you when you talk too.
That's fine.
I just judge you all the time.
That's fine.
So that was neither here nor there. I was just finishing my thought that's another reason why I like texting more than calling. I just express myself much better that way. Generational is what we were talking about. So if you've got millennial clients, if you got clients in their 20s, I guess that is millennial, even 30s.
I don't know, millennials are getting up to 30s.
Yeah, I would probably not do the phone call unless you've already established that type of relationship and know that they like the phone.
Good. All right. So those three grouped together, you have email opportunity, you have text message, phone call opportunity, kind of a mass email to everybody, a little less personal. But I think the overall statement here is it is worth your time to organize your clientele, divvy out the time to do these things as you make your transition. Okay. Now the next one, I'm so excited for this one. So excited. And I hope you read the bottom, because that question's...
read any of your stuff.
Of course not. No, we just wing it. So we talked about, okay, what you can do personally. Now you're going to networking events. And now you're trying to expose yourself. Well, gosh, we just had a conversation with somebody
trying to expose yourself at the networking events.
Maybe I should have finished that. Exposing your new business. But right before we recorded, somebody came in here. I happen to know who he is. I met him early in his career, and he has shifted a couple things. He has done a good job on social media, but he's also inquired banking about his new endeavor, and that came to me. So that's how I knew those things. But once again, there was an email involved, not a phone call, but kind of a face-to-face. Like, he did all the things.
He did it right.
Correct.
Okay.
And probably not on purpose, but by default.
He accidentally did it right.
He accidentally did it right. Good for you. So I want to talk about, you've just switched jobs, and now you're going to networking events. One big thing that, and I did not coin this phrase, but don't be a dog with a bone.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Don't go to a networking event and walk up to everybody and say, Angela, I could start a new job. Hey, everybody, guess what I'm doing now? Hey, this is what I'm doing. Oh, I know I couldn't help you before, but now I can. And I wrote that on there for me.
Because
for me.
You do that?
I am so ready to do that in life, right? Like, I just get so excited about so many things. And I have to do this in every conversation I have, is to hold back, listen more than talk. I know the struggles of an extrovert. So that's where, and I actually heard that at a conference, but don't be a dog with a bone. Still keep your concept of listen more than you talk. Be more interested than interesting, and you will earn the right to talk about your new position. Because what I have seen is a lot of times when I inquire a lot about somebody, the most common, when there's a pause, the most common thing is, well, tell me a little bit more about what's going on with you. And that door is open very often. And I think that's where you don't want to jump in. And I'm the most excited person you're going to meet, but you still want to keep your composure and keep your basics, and you'll have the opportunity to talk about your new position.
And also it kind of makes the assumption when you act like that, when you go to an event, look what I'm doing, whether you are doing it on purpose or not, the assumption is you want people to switch to whatever you're doing.
That's right.
So whether that's you're making, kind of a lateral transition where, you're in mortgage with this bank and then all of a sudden you're in mortgage with that bank, or you were in your position, you moved up the ladder.
Right.
But it still could come across, oh, I'm at this bank now. And it's implied, I think you should come with me.
Right.
Which is can be very off-putting to some people.
Well, that's a straight withdrawal.
It absolutely is. You haven't earned the right to ask that yet.
Nope. Even if you've established long-term relationship, this is a new bank.
And so another thing that I think you should do if you are making that type of move to a different organization, either way, a different organization, or you're making a step up and you're not in the same position anymore, what I would do with the announcement is, here's who's going to be handling your business now at my previous place of employment, because that is saying, I'm not doing the announcement to get your business. I'm doing the announcement as a courtesy and to let you know you're not going to be hearing from Brandon anymore on this, but you're going to be hearing from Linda. And Linda's been here for 20 years and I worked with her and she's going to take great care of you. Make sure they have your information in case I don't want Linda, I want Brandon.
Right.
But then you're not implying, I'm making the transition, you're coming along with me.
Wow, I like that.
So that's a really nice courtesy to be like, here's who you will be hearing from, or here's how things will change. Linda's not like me. She doesn't like to do XYZ, but she does this really well.
Right.
Or, something like that to give them the warm intro to whoever will be taking over if that's the case.
And I know we're talking about networking, but I think that's also a great move with your clients.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like,
in the newsletter.
Gives you something to talk about.
Everything. it's a very nice way of saying, I'm not doing this to sell you anything or to tell you have to move. This is a courtesy.
Yeah, okay.
I'm taking care of you.
So that gives you a little easier way to not be all, oh, this is what I'm doing now. Let's go. Let's go.
Now, how that might be a tough one if, in your case, it's a good move, everything's on the up and up. What happens if you get fired or you left a company because they were not doing things on the up and up?
Mm-hmm.
Then do you want to, you've got these great clients, and this is probably going into a completely other realm.
Let's go.
And how deep we get into it or not is up to you. But you don't want your client to stay there because, they're doing bad stuff. They're gouging them with prices, or they're not following up, or they're doing things that there was a reason why you left. And it wasn't just because it was a great opportunity. It's because you could not be a part of this company anymore. What do you do there?
So I've seen this in the insurance world.
Okay.
If where you're at is good and I can't beat it, then I will tell you to stay there. Mm-hmm. But can I have the opportunity to look over your file?
Okay.
And I think when you're going into so you're leaving the company that, let's just say, it was price gouging. That's
sure.
Okay, price gouging. And you know that you have a less expensive service for them. It is can I give you a quote where I'm at now? And I'll even play I'm just practicing with my new software. It just gets me a little acquainted. You know me, I know you. We've worked together in the past. Can I have this opportunity?
Yeah.
And I've had people do that to me in the networking world, and I didn't feel sold to.
Okay.
I felt like I was helping them. So I feel there's a good and a bad way to communicate.
Right. Oh, I think the worst thing you can do is bad mouth.
Yeah.
Where you came from. It's kind of the same thing that I would say bad mouthing an ex-spouse.
Ooh.
Because what it's doing, number one, you look petty.
Yeah.
And number two, you make yourself look bad because you were either A, working there for several years, B, married to that person for several years. So what does it say about you?
Right.
Okay, you're out now, but you were a part of that. And so if you go talking bad about them, it's probably going to bite you in the ass. Even if some nasty things were going on, even if your ex-spouse was the devil, him or herself, it's going to end up looking bad for you.
Yep.
So I think, really watching that, and I like that way. It's just kind of they're going to figure it out on their own. And if they ask, that's different.
Correct. They open the door.
Right.
Then you have the opportunity.
Hey, I'm still with them. I really want to know if XYZ. Okay, then the door is open. But
I'm really big on not bashing the competition.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't
end up well.
Let me rephrase that. I've never heard anybody say, "Oh gosh, yeah, I switched companies because this guy told me how bad my current one was." It just doesn't bode well.
It doesn't. And it makes you look petty, and and a lot of the times those are the people that are job hoppers. Because then you start thinking, well, they're with them now, but they're going to be gone in a year and they're going to start bashing them.
Yes.
And then it's going to happen again, and then you don't want to work with them, and then people aren't going to want to hire you. And it's just, downward spiral.
It's always, I had a guy in my Bible study and he got this new job and it was amazing, saving him from this old crap job and all this. And just his demeanor, even when he talks about it, it's just down. And you're like, oh, it's not everything you said it was going to be. And I'm the biggest guilty of this. Not the biggest guilty, that's not the right, but I'm totally guilty of this. I get so damn excited.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, and this and this and this. And maybe you should, and I'm working on this.
Temper it a little bit.
Keep your mouth shut a little bit to the public until you know what it's really all about. Okay, this one is huge for me, but if you're new position, new job, new company, and you're going to networking events, wear your brand. Be it a name tag, a polo shirt, or something that has the brand on it. It's a great way to cause conversations that then lead to you.
And it lets other people bring it up first.
Correct. Yep. Kind of earn it. It's a great way to silently earn the right to talk about it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've used this on many occasions. Even at Pixel Fire when I got my polos. I would wear them to events that maybe it wasn't 100% representing Pixel Fire, but I wanted to. Right. I wanted that exposure and I wanted those conversations.
And people did ask.
Absolutely.
And absolutely.
So branding on your, and I hate the people that are like, oh, I hate work branded stuff. Well, you know what? If it's going to get you a sale, suck it up.
I know. And I'm kind of one of those.
You are. I know.
I am. And the reason is it's going to make me sound awful, but I have such an individualistic mindset,
You do.
it's really hard for me to say I am Pixel Fire. I am Core Bank. I am, because I'm Angie. I'm Angie, damn it. It's really hard for me to do that. And I'm sure that is tied up in a lot of my pathology and past and personality, all that stuff. My husband's a lot the same way. He doesn't even like horoscopes because he's like, I'm not an Aquarius. I'm Todd.
Wow.
I'm not like all those other Aquariuses. Both of us are very much like that, which can be hard sometimes.
What a break the mold.
but yeah, that's hard for me to do. Because I work well in a team. I like having a team. That's not to say I'm not a team player. I am, but I really am like, I'm different. I'm myself. I'm not like anyone else. but that, I'm not saying do that. But it is hard for me to wear branded stuff like that.
See, and I don't know if it's the woo or what in me, but I've always been all about the name tags and know who I am, know where I'm at, and if I can do it without saying anything, if you're watching the video, I'm showing the name tags on.
He's doing something.
But if I can do it without having to say something, that's huge for me.
Yeah.
Because I talk all the
There's
time.
a reason why branded apparel and all that stuff is quite popular.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. And it's
because most people are not like me. Because I'm Angie.
Because you're Angie. You're Angie.
Terrible.
Okay, so then this is the last one, and I did put this on here for Angie's opinion. Gosh, I call you Angela. That's so funny. I've always known you as Angela, but more people I feel call you Angie when you say.
I'll respond to either.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you're going to a networking event. We've talked about wearing your brand, not being a dog with a bone, so kind of controlling yourself a little.
You know what I think that was, because that confused me when you said dog with a bone, because dog with a bone to me is, I think what you're saying is puppy with a new toy.
Sure.
Puppy with a new toy, because it's, look at me, look what I got, I want to talk about it.
But then you need to come and see Minnie when she gets a bone. I mean, she's just stoked.
Probably kind of the same. Dog with a bone to me is like a bulldog.
Violent,
not violent, just I'm not going to let go. Puppy with a new toy.
Okay.
Because that's important.
Well, I'm good. So whichever works better for you personally. Don't be a dog with a bone or a puppy with a toy.
New toy.
So, and I feel we've talked about this before. What are some good ways that you can make early deposits so that you do have the right to talk about your new position?
Well, I do think we've already covered some of them, which is leave clients in the hands of the next person. Do the warm intro there.
Okay.
I think taking them out. But again, when you're inviting somebody out for coffee or for lunch, not necessarily a deposit, because you are asking for their time.
Correct.
So it's really an ask. If you are doing that and they agree, definitely you pay, you treat.
Yep.
And make sure you say that when you do the invite. I'd love to treat you to lunch. I'd love to treat you to a happy hour, something like that. It's still an ask, but, at least you're trying to give a deposit during.
Right. And setting an expectation,
which
I love.
You can bring them swag. I don't think there's anything wrong with even an in-person. You don't have in-person there. Stop by your best client's office and bring them a little care package that has some new swag for your new company.
That's a great idea.
Again, I don't like the drop-in for the same reason I don't like the phone call, which is I'm doing it on, but maybe say, when would be a good time for me to drop in? I got something for you. I just want to say hi. Give you my new business card.
I'm trying to think, because I do pop bys and I set them up. Now, part of that was unintended because with COVID and everything, you never knew if anybody was going to be in their office. But now I like that you give them the heads up. I would almost even say, just I'm going to pop by 5 minutes. I would almost set a time on it.
And say, is there, a 2-hour window where it would be okay for me to drop in for 5 minutes?
Perfect.
And make sure unless they are engaging with you, don't stay more than 5 minutes.
Yeah. Don't stay more than 5 minutes. Let's reiterate
I am only going to
that.
stay for 5 minutes, and then you plop your ass down and won't leave. So I think that would be a good way. Another is to give them information with your new position, especially if you're doing something a little bit different. So whether that's through social media, which we're going to be talking about in the next episode, if you can get them to like your new page, it's okay to ask, for them to like. If you've transitioned on social media, but then make sure you're giving value with your social media, education, entertainment, whatever it is to give value, don't sell to them.
Right. Yep.
If you get them on a new newsletter, make sure there's a lot of good value in there. So just educating them about the new position and how it could be of value to them without selling. So I think, I don't know how many times we need to sell that say that.
I think we can say it plenty. Like you can never say it too much, because even those that have mastered that skill still will fall into that from time to time.
If you have events, I think you can invite them. Again, invitations to things aren't necessarily deposits, because you are asking them to take the time to come. But say your new position, there's an open house where there's an open bar and food and entertainment or something. You can invite your old clients.
Of course.
I'd love you to come see what we're doing here. We're having drawings, this, and, try and give some value that they're not just going to, come and be sold to. They get a drink and eat good food or whatever. I think you can do invites.
I've been to an event where it was very open. And they're like, we're going to have somebody speak real quick. And they speak for 30 minutes. And I needed to leave 10 minutes into that 30 minutes. And I'm like,
and we'll open the bar after.
Oh my gosh. So I'm texting my wife. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be a little later. I just can't find a way out right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I think those are
those are phenomenal.
Ways.
Those are, and this is why I put this on there. I knew you would come up. And to me, Angie, all of those are very reasonable to do, right? Even if you're expanding your comfort zone, none of those sounded like something I wouldn't want to do.
Right. And not something that I wouldn't want someone to do to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. And that's tough in sales sometimes, because sometimes you need to do the things that you don't necessarily like done to you, but that's a whole nother podcast for another day, isn't it?
Whole nother kettle of fish.
Woo.
You never heard that one?
Kettle of like a tea kettle? Cuddle?
It's a kettle, a whole other kettle of fish. You've never heard that?
I've never seen a fish in a kettle.
Well, I haven't either, but I've never seen a gift horse. And I've never looked him in the mouth.
I looked right in the mouth.
Another story for a different time.
All right. Well, I think we knocked this one out of the park. For everybody out there and on YouTube land, don't forget, this is being broadcasted on YouTube, so you can watch the live video of us. We have no kettles of fish. Bantering back and forth. Yeah, there's no kettles on the bookshelf that I see. Next time. If you bring a fish, I will lose my mind. But please share this with your friends. Tell them about the Engaging Life podcast. Share with how it's changed your life, because I'm sure we're changing your life every single week as these come out. And you can get them every week if you subscribe. Yes. Subscribe. And then, of course, we get more traction if we get some reviews. Yeah, and we like reviews. We like 5-star reviews. I like good reviews. Yeah. 5 stars is always great. Yeah. But we will take whatever we can get. So with that, thank you so much, everybody, for your time today. I hope you found some value in this. And we look forward to talking to you on the next podcast.